Greetings, brethren. Hausburger Donkey here, and this is just a really quick late-night video. I'm actually sort of about to go to bed, but I just watched a video by Justin Borges talking about, or Borges? I don't know, man. I still don't really know how to pronounce your name. Anyway, about basing for Oathmark, specifically because he wants to do both Oathmark and Dragon Rampant with his stuff, and doesn't necessarily want to, or might not want to go with the square bases because he likes the look of playing Dragon Rampant with round bases. So I thought I'd just quickly go through just Oathmark bases and my thoughts on them. So these are the standard base sizes for Oathmark. You have your 25mm squares. Obviously they don't have to be from Renedra. This is just the sort of the stuff that comes in the box. So that's what I took out. And these are for all of the infantry. Everything that's infantry in the game, so your humans, goblins, orcs, elves, dwarves, command figures, anything that's on foot is on 25mm squares. And that is so that they can all slot together into units, because your commanders, your wizards, etc., they can all be in the units, and as such they need to be on 25mm squares to slot in. Then you have the cavalry, which is on 25 by 50mm bases. Oh, and I should also say that all units in Oathmark, infantry units, are always 5 models wide, or up to 5 models wide. So you can't make a 10 model wide unit that's 2 ranks or something. They can only ever have 5 models width for their ranks and up to 4 ranks. So they can be 20 men strong and 5 by 4. That's all you can do. You can do, you can have less. You can go 12, for example, and have 2 ranks of 5 and then an extra 2, and that's fine. It's just you can never have a rank either. Well, you can have one that's narrower if you only have 4 guys, but if you have, say, 8, you can't make 2 ranks of 4. You have to make 1 rank of 5 and 1 rank of 3. That's just kind of how Oathmark works. It's a bit weird when you come from Warhammer, where you can make your formation as you wish, but that's just what Joseph chose when he wrote the rules, I suppose. So yeah, and up to 20 of these bases for 1 unit. With the cavalry, you can have up to 5 in 1 rank as well, and then have up to 2 ranks. So a cavalry unit can be up to 10 man strong. And cavalry is, of course, you have your elf cavalry, your human cavalry, you have your goblin wolf riders, and there's also wolves that don't have any goblins riding on them, and they are also on these 25 by 50 mils. Then you have the monster base, which is a bit more open-ended, because this is large infantry, so your ogres, trolls, giant spiders, werewolves and such, but also smaller singular monsters. So for example, do I have them somewhere here? Probably, yep, there we go. So this Barghest from the dwarf faction, that also comes on a 50mm base, even though it's not supposed to be like a large entity kind of thing where you have a unit of up to 3, because trolls and ogres, you can have a unit of up to 3 in 1 rank. You can only, with buying 1 terrain for these Barghests, you only can have up to 2. And I'm pretty sure you can't have them in a unit. I'm pretty sure they are single entities. So it also goes for these smaller monsters, and there's a few of them. But yeah, generally large infantry comes in units of up to 3, but you don't have to have 3. You can have 1, 2, or 3 for 1 unit. And then lastly, we have the 50mm by 100mm, which will always be facing the short end. So this is just for long monsters. So like a dragon would be on one of these bases, for example. And that's really it. That's all the bases you have in Oathmark. And if you don't like the squares, there are quite a few things you can do as well. So, for example, you can just go with your 25mm rounds, because obviously they are pretty much the exact same as a square in terms of the space they take up. And to rank them up, North Star actually sells, I don't have one, but they sell Sabo trays that hold 20 round bases where the bases touch on the Sabo base. So they're basically like a square, a rectangle, and then they have little sort of crosses basically separating the slots for the round bases, and the round bases slot base to base. So it takes up the exact same space as 20 of these square bases would, which is, of course, excellent, right? So you can absolutely take round-based models. They don't have to be on Games Workshop 25 millimeters either. They can be on MDF 25 mils, it doesn't matter, or even the Renedra ones. And then get those Renedra-made Sabo trays that North Star sells, and I'm sure there's probably also war bases or some such that sell similar Sabo bases that work with Oathmark. And then just play with round bases if you prefer that. Now, obviously, round bases also will work for 50 millimeter bases. I haven't seen any Sabo ones for those, but just a 50 millimeter round base will fit will have the same, area as a 50 millimeter square, just like the infantry ones. With these large ones, you can actually take the I think it's the middle sized oval bases from Games Workshop, because they're 75 or 76 millimeter long by on their widest point 46, so they should fit in the area of one of these bases. You might want to maybe put a 50 by 100 underneath it just to show the complete area, but yeah, you can definitely you can use those. And for cavalry, well, you're just gonna have to go with pill-shaped bases. I don't have one because I don't personally really like them that much, but yeah, basically you have the corners sort of rounded off, and it becomes like a pill base. Yeah, that's basically it. Another solution that I really like, I'm not going to use it for Oathmark, but I do like this more for any sort of thing where, let's say I want to have a skirmish game, but I want to use those figures for a mass battle game as well, and they have to rank up. And then I like to use these. They are from, I think these specifically are from Sarissa, but I'm pretty sure war bases and other places, they also make these. They're standard 25 mil by 25 mil MDF bases, but they have the corners rounded off. And once you have them in sort of a skirmish formation, it doesn't look quite as jarring as when you have, completely square bases in a skirmish formation. I totally get why people don't like it, because it just looks kind of wrong in a way. So yeah, and I think these, at least for me, they really fix that issue and make just make it look a lot nicer and more presentable as a skirmish sort of thing. So I would really recommend these. They obviously come, because they're MDF, they come in whatever size you need, so you can get all of these Oathmark sizes made in this style. And yeah, so that's what I think about this. I hope I'll tag you with this video, Justin. I hope this helps you, because having, it's important that the units take up the same space as they would with the 25 by 25 mil bases. So I've seen quite a lot of people just use their old Warhammer armies that are based on 20 millimeter bases, and that does kind of interfere with the rules a little bit. So if you're okay with that, sure, but in general, it does make sense to try and find a solution where you have the correct sort of frontage for your units. All right, that's it. Bit of a ramble, but I hope that was helpful for anyone who's sort of interested in Oathmark and wants to know if there's any alternatives to using the green Renedra bases, because I know not everybody likes them, and that's totally fine. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll go to bed now, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.